Hello everybody, and welcome to this video that I'm doing about the approaching transit of Jupiter through Swati Nakshatra. This particular transit will begin on the 2nd of October and will transpire until about the 6th of December. Yes, looking on my notes, the 6th of December of this year. Let's talk a little bit about this particular process, what it might mean broadly for each of us as an individual. If you'd like to know what it might mean on a more particular level for you as an individual, please do feel free to visit my astrological services page where you can schedule the astrological service of your choice. You should see a link somewhere in this video right about this time. So, last several months have probably been taking you through a process where you're recognizing all those things that don't really work in your life. All those things that you thought once formed part of the fiber of who you were as an individual, your ethics, your beliefs, and how you shaped the things that you did within your day-to-day actions, right? Because that's what our ethics do. They help us to guide our actions, right? And we generally take actions if we're ethical people based upon our beliefs. And if we're unethical people, we take actions based upon our beliefs too. It's just our beliefs are unethical. And ethical on a certain level is a matter of judgment. And it's a matter of judgment that is as per person. And it's also something that we tend to judge as humans on a mass level. We have group ideas of what fits in with society and what doesn't fit in with society. And the very shape of society and the destiny of the planet is shaped by our collective ethics as well. And that's a really interesting process too. What Chitra Nakshatra tends to do is it guides us through a particular process, which at first we believe that our heart is in a certain area. And I don't mean your chest. I mean your heart is in a certain area attached to a particular way of looking at things. I feel this about this. I think this about that. That's the head. But I feel this about that, right? I feel that if things were this way in the world, then things would be wonderful. I feel like my life has to be shaped where people treat me this, that, or the other way. Or I feel that my life has to be proceed in a manner where I treat people this, that, or the other way. And so that's how our life is shaped by our ethics. But Jupiter's transit through Chitra Nakshatra may have brought each of you and each of us, including me, we're all going through this process, through a period of recognizing what does and doesn't work anymore. And that doesn't mean that all of our ethics go out the window. It doesn't believe that all of our beliefs are wrong. But as humans, we're here to evolve. We grow. Each moment changes. So some things that fit within one particular period of our life we're fine for that period. But once we're done with that particular time, then it becomes time for that particular way of looking at things, judging our life in general, to begin to move to the background. And so it was that, a process has likely been going on for the last several months where the way you used to look at things, you're not really looking at them in that way anymore. What you used to believe, or at least some aspect of your belief system, has left you in a position of feeling dissatisfied, disheartened. You were seeing things in a particular way, but then the veil cleared, and now you see something differently in a manner that on a certain level just makes you feel like, well, gee, things used to be this way, and now I don't know how and where to take things. Until most recently, when you're beginning to get a clearer picture. And so now what happens with Jupiter's transit through Swati Nakshatra? Well, Swati Nakshatra is a very transformative nakshatra. Each of the nakshatras has a particular, what is called Shakti. And this is something that's a little known concept with the nakshatras, which is something called the basis above, the basis below, and the result of these two things. And this is taken from one of the Upanishads, right? Or a portion of one of the Upanishads, okay? What I'm going to share with you. So first of all, the Shakti of Swati Nakshatra is the power to scatter like the wind, right? What does the wind do? The wind does a lot of different things. It blows things, it moves things, right? Wind is associated with change. The winds of change blowing through. The winds of change creating transformation. But the wind also strengthens, right? If you've ever been outside during a really powerful windstorm, you really have to lean into the wind in order to stand upright, right? So you have to be strong and have your resolve strengthened to move against the wind, right? And sometimes we don't need to move against the wind. Sometimes we need to move with the wind. In life in general, we tend to need a balance of both. So what is the basis above, basis below, and the result with Swati Nakshatra? Well, the basis above, you can look at in terms of what the heavens give to the planet, right? The universe gives to the planet. The universe gives to creation. What God gives to consciousness. Any way you need to look at it, right? So the basis above that is given is moving in various directions. The heavens create all these different types of people who move in different ways. We interact with each other. Sometimes we come up against each other and create resistance. That's all part of the plan too. Sometimes we meet somebody who's moving in a different direction than us, and then we move down the same path together. Sometimes we come up against somebody and we see a different aspect of life or of creation. We see diversity and we learn from that. That's another thing that can happen through moving in various directions. But equally, the heavens give us the capacity to move in different directions in our life, right? So somebody influences us, somebody impacts us. We find meaning in that. We find meaning in the influence of others. We find meaning in the resistance that we encounter through others, right? And so with these particular factors, we then go through the basis below, which is a change of form, right? I used to be this way. Now I'm not that way. I am another way. I used to see things this way. Now I've seen things in a completely different manner because of this particular influence that has come into my life. I used to think this. Then I got a little bit disheartened as per Chitra Nakshatra, the previous Nakshatra. And so now I'm changing my life and moving in this direction. And the result of the basis above and the basis below is transformation. And Swati is an Artha-driven nakshatra. It has a specific goal in mind, and it achieves that goal through a certain level of self-control, being strong within one's core, being determined that one, recognizes that there is a particular problem in one's life where one's life is out of balance, and now one is determined to change the form, change the shape, and ultimately change the destiny of one's life, where one wants to head with things. Are you changing the destiny? No, the destiny is being changed through you, through God, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. It's stepping in and it's acting through you. It's making you act determined. It's maybe even making you act egotistical. That's part of the plan too. It's all part of the divine plan. Whatever the case, you become more focused, right? And this is moving overall in the next several months in a very positive direction. Some key themes in the background, pardon me, I just want to move my phone over here. Some key themes in the background are to not become so focused on being strong through these changes that you ignore your sensitivity, right? Equally, don't feel that certain core parts of the essence of who you were as an individual also need to go out the window, right? There can be a real danger that we get rid of everything in our life or think that we have to alter the complete course of who we are as an individual. And so on a certain level, that might be the case, right? but there are natural core parts of our being that need to stay the same. And it's much more the surface that's needing to evolve, and how we're looking at these things, how we're approaching these things, the actions that we take in association with our core ethics. And so there's essence, and then there's form, right? We each, as an individual, have an essence, and that essence equally is a part of our ethics. And you know how you have certain beliefs that don't change throughout your life, and then you have certain ways of looking at things that do change? It's those things that do change that are going to be moving. And as those things move, you're going to go, well, that is no longer appropriate for my life. Now I need to move in this particular direction. I need to get rid of all of these things that don't work. Right? In addition to that, it is enough to change, right? That's all you have to do is to change, right? If there's somebody who's been asking you to change, you don't need their approval. If there's something that you don't want to change, you don't need their approval. It doesn't mean that you're proud if you go, well, there's something about me that I don't want to change, right? But equally, don't feel so driven if you happen to think that you are being disrespected, or that you, maybe on one level you feel vulnerable, maybe on another level you feel that your sensitivities are, somewhat being violated. Don't then feel that you have to put up this armor and go, right, I have to do this, that, and the other thing to make my life better because I've got a point to prove. You have no point to prove but to yourself. So look at your life. What's not working for you? What is working for you, right? Make your own decisions within this. Head in your own independent direction in a certain area of your life. Be uniquely you during this particular time, right? Rahu, which is the nakshatra lord as per Vinshotri Dasha of Ardra Nakshatra, is in Magha Nakshatra, and it's going to be in there for a while. So there's a tendency to ignore our pain or ignore our difficulty, but our pain is an important part of the process because it shows us what's wrong and it shows us what's out of balance, right? With Rahu in Magha Nakshatra associated with Ketu, Ketu is in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Dhanishta Nakshatra, on one level, teaches us to be authentically who we are, but without any need for the approval from other people. So you need to take a look at in your life at what you want to change, what you find meaning in as per Jupiter, and you need to take the appropriate steps to bring the expansion into your life that helps all of these things to move forward ultimately in a very positive way. There's some really exciting things in store for each and every one of us in the next few months. We can create the change that we want to see in the world, but first we have to more completely become that change within ourselves. If you'd like to know what this particular transit is about for you as an individual, of course, that's going to be shaped by where this is transiting in your particular chart, what particular planetary period you're in. All of those things you can find out through an astrological consultation with me. And in order to set something up like that, you just need to visit my astrological services page at AuthenticAstrology.com. There will be a link above up in the video that will take you to the page. That's going to do it for this video, giving you a broad idea of what the transit of Jupiter through Swati Nakshatra is going to bring for each and every one of us. Until next time, when there will be very soon a full moon video within several days. Till next time, please take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.